Ladies and gentlemen, the hype train has arrived. So before the hype dies down, we'll take the initiative. The game we have here is BioShock Infinite. This had so much hype around it with all the discussion on the forums and advertisements plastered everywhere. Let's see if it lives up to the hype and how this will turn out in the coming months. I played the original BioShock and I was unimpressed by it. I felt the gameplay was too generic and uninteresting, so I stopped around halfway into it. I never played BioShock 2, but then comes along BioShock Infinite, and I thought, I have a good feeling about this one because it just seems different enough. I'll try my best to keep the spoilers to a minimum, and from my understanding, the storyline from BioShock 1 and 2 is completely separate from BioShock Infinite, so you won't be doing yourself a disservice by playing out of order. To start the game, you have a similar opening to the original BioShock. You have the tower that serves as the gateway to a strange new world, but you're going up instead of down. Once there, you'll find something drastically different. Instead of that feeling of isolation you had on Rapture, you get to see people. Lots of people living normal lives. Well, normal in the sense that they don't attack you on sight. That does change when we get to the combat. Gun in one hand, spell in the other, and you can melee attack with some wonky device. I like the weapons in general. They did away with the differing ammo types, so it's not like I could turn every weapon into an anti-armor weapon. I've had some time to play around with the sniper rifle, and it feels like it's easier to use without the scope. The spells in the game are called Vigors, and I find them to be much more useful than the plasmids in the original BioShock. Since you're carrying very limited ammo for each weapon, I use the Vigors not just for their damage, but also for their effects. I like the fact that you have a health bar. I like how it doesn't regenerate. So, you actually have to manage these resources. This was in the original BioShock, but I do appreciate the challenge that's associated with it. You have to keep track of your health, your salts, which is what your mana is referred to, but you do have a tiny shield that regenerates out of combat. A couple hits and it's gone, so it doesn't make the game easier, but it does have that advantage of taking a couple of hits before losing health. I'm playing this on the hard difficulty because I'm more interested in the challenge the game is presenting me than the story itself. The whole point of the game is to rescue this girl, Elizabeth. Once you find her, she makes this game stand out far, far away from the original. She's with you most of the time, and when she's not, you have to look for her. But when she is with you, you'll find that she talks a lot. Not in an annoying, I want her to shut the hell up kind of way, but she shows interest in a lot of things, and in some cases, she'll tell you something useful, like point out a side area you can explore. In combat, you're basically playing an escort mission without the whole escort mission part. Elizabeth will stay near you, but she'll hide in a corner. You don't have to worry about her, so you can focus on actually playing the game. Thank you, game developers! You have solved the problem that has plagued escort missions for centuries! Well, decades. Years. She goes looking for ammo, medkits, salts, even some cash every now and then. Not too often that you never have to worry about these things, but just a little bit to sustain in a fight for longer. So I really like how Elizabeth is portrayed as someone who actively tries to improve the situation she's in, instead of being a simple damsel in distress. Finally, I do have to mention the level design. The whole setting of the game that is Columbia, the city in the skies. The story and the objectives are, of course, linear, but there's plenty of side areas to explore and lots of backtracking between the levels. Every new public area you enter, all of the NPCs will treat you as neutral. They're all going about their business, whatever that may be, until someone or something initiates the hostilities. You have this chance to just explore the place and see what life in Columbia is like. Many of the environments are large open areas, so in combat, there's plenty of space to maneuver, plenty of opportunities for map control. So as someone who was bored of BioShock halfway through, I was impressed with BioShock Infinite. It caters to my desire for a challenging game, and it caters to people who are more interested in the story. It's a really good game so far. but how will this do in the market later on? In the short term, within 4 to 8 weeks, we begin to see the hype slowing down, just not stopping completely. We'll be seeing many random screenshots of the game on Reddit, many spoiler-filled discussions of the game, all properly labeled as such, and everyone will be getting their Let's Plays and their reviews out there. So basically, everything we're seeing now will still be happening in a few weeks' time, just at a lower frequency. I'd imagine at least a couple memes created by this time. As for the long term, 3 to 6 months from now, we'll see the DLC released. This will explore more of the history and lore surrounding Columbia, most likely from the perspective of a new character. As for the players themselves, they'll still talk about the game every once in a while. Those who played it on release will still be talking about their experiences with the game, they just won't be playing it. The only people who are playing the game are the ones who waited for the price to drop. The game launched at $60, though by this time, I'm thinking the regular price will be $40. The game is also missing a multiplayer mode, but as far as I'm concerned, the game doesn't need it here. The Unreal Engine 3 does have some very good network code, but the game mechanics would be a problem. Too many vigors function as proxy mines or stuns, just at a glance. I'm glad they stuck with single player only instead of trying to balance any sort of multiplayer. That being said, the longevity of the product is very short because it's single player. Other than the potential for a speedrun, I don't think it's compelling enough to justify another playthrough. Just enjoy it for what it is. It's a game you play, you have your fun, and then you move on. Remember, you are paying top dollar for a highly polished single-player game that will blow you away. It will blow you away, but that's all it will do. I would recommend waiting for the price to drop, since you'll most likely be playing through this only once. For something like this, I would prefer to pay $30. The question now is, can you wait? In a few months' time, we'll see what happens to this game, and I'll do a follow-up video on it. Thanks for watching.